Chapter 10. Now after this, death came to the king of the children of Ammon, and Hanun, his son, became king in his place. And David said, I will be a friend to Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father was a friend to me. So David sent his servants, to give him words of comfort on account of his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon, but the chiefs of the children of Ammon said to Hanun their lord, Does it seem to you that David is honoring your father by sending comforters to you? Has he not sent his servants to go through the town and make secret observation of it, and overcome it? So Hanun took David's servants, and after cutting off half the hair on their chins, and cutting off the skirts of their robes up to the middle, he sent them away. When David had news of it, he sent men out with the purpose of meeting them on their way, for the men were greatly shamed, and the king said, Go to Jericho till your hair is long again, and then come back. And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves hated by David, they sent to the Arameans of Beth-rehob and Zobah, and got for payment 20,000 footmen, and they got from the king of Maacah 1,000 men, and from Tob 12,000. And hearing of this, David sent Joab and all the army and the best fighting men. And the children of Ammon came out and put their forces in position at the way into the town, and the Arameans of Zobah and of Rehob, with the men of Tob and Maacah, were by themselves in the field. Now when Joab saw that their forces were in position against him in front and at his back, he took the best of the men of Israel and put them in line against the Arameans, and the rest of the people he put in position against the children of Ammon, with Abishai, his brother, at their head. And he said, If the Arameans are stronger and get the better of me, then you are to come to my help. But if the children of Ammon get the better of you, I will come to your help. Take heart, and let us be strong for our people and for the towns of our God, and may the Lord do what seems good to him. Then Joab and the people with him went forward to the fight against the Arameans, and they went in flight before him. And when the children of Ammon saw the flight of the Arameans, they themselves went in flight from Abishai, and came into the town. So Joab went back from fighting the children of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. And when the Arameans saw that Israel had overcome them, they got themselves together. And Hadadezer sent for the Arameans who were on the other side of the river, and they came to Helam, with Shobach, the captain of Hadadezer's army, at their head. And word of this was given to David, and he got all Israel together and went over Jordan and came to Helam. And the Arameans put their forces in position against David, and made an attack on him. And the Arameans went in flight before Israel, and David put to the sword the men of 700 Aramean war carriages and 40,000 footmen, and Shobach, the captain of the army, was wounded, and came to his death there. And when all the kings who were servants of Hadadezer saw that they were overcome by Israel, they made peace with Israel and became their servants. So the Arameans, in fear, gave no more help to the children of Ammon. Chapter 11. Now in the spring, at the time when kings go out to war, David sent Joab and his servants and all Israel with him, and they made waste the land of the children of Ammon, and took up their position before Rabbah, shutting it in. But David was still at Jerusalem. Now one evening, David got up from his bed, and while he was walking on the roof of the king's house, he saw from there a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful. And David sent to get knowledge who the woman was. And one said, Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent and took her, and she came to him, and he took her to his bed, for she had been made clean. Then she went back to her house. And the woman became with child, and she sent word to David that she was with child. And David sent to Joab saying, Send Uriah the Hittite to me. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah came to him, David put questions to him about how Joab and the people were, and how the war was going. And David said to Uriah, Go down to your house and let your feet be washed. And Uriah went away from the king's house, and an offering from the king was sent after him. But Uriah took his rest at the door of the king's house, with all the servants of his lord, and did not go down to his house. And when word was given to David that Uriah had not gone down to his house, David said to Uriah, Have you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, Israel and Judah with the ark are living in tents, and my lord Joab and the other servants of my lord are sleeping in the open field, and am I to go to my house and take food and drink, and go to bed with my wife? By the living Lord, and by the life of your soul, I will not do such a thing. And David said to Uriah, Be here today, and after that I will let you go." So Uriah was in Jerusalem that day and the day after. And when David sent for him, he took meat and drink with him, and David made him the worse for drink, and when evening came, he went to rest on his bed with the servants of his lord, but he did not go down to his house. Now in the morning, David gave Uriah a letter to take to Joab, and in the letter he said, "Take care to put Uriah in the very front of the line, where the fighting is most violent, and go back from him, so that he may be overcome and put to death." So while Joab was watching the town, he put Uriah in the place where it was clear to him the best fighters were. And the men of the town went out and had a fight with Joab, and a number of David's men came to their death in the fight, and with them Uriah the Hittite. Then Joab sent David news of everything which had taken place in the war, and he gave orders to the man who took the news, saying, "After you have given the king all the news about the war, if the king is angry and says, 'Why did you go so near the town for the fight? Was it not certain that their archers would be on the wall? Who put Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, to death? Did not a woman send a great stone down on him from the wall, putting him to death at Thebez? Why did you go so near the wall? Then say to him, Your servant Uriah the Hittite is among the dead.'" So the man went, and came to David, and gave him all the news which Joab had sent him to give. Then David was angry with Joab and said, "Why did you go so near the town for the fight? Was it not certain that their archers would be on the wall? Who put Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, to death? Did not a woman send a great stone down on him from the wall, putting him to death at Thebez? Why did you go so near the wall?" And the man said to David, "Truly the men got the better of us, and came out against us into the open country, but we sent them back to the very doors of the town. And the archers sent their arrows at your servants from the wall, and some of the king's servants are dead, and among them is your servant Uriah the Hittite." Then David said to the man, "Go and say to Joab, 'Do not let this be a grief to you, for one man may come to his death by the sword like another. Put up an even stronger fight against the town, and take it, and do you put heart into him.'" And when the wife of Uriah had news that her husband was dead, she gave herself up to weeping for him. And when the days of weeping were past, David sent for her, and took her into his house, and she became his wife and gave him a son. Chapter 12. And the Lord sent Nathan to David. And Nathan came to him and said, "There were two men in the same town, one a man of great wealth, and the other a poor man. The man of wealth had great numbers of flocks and herds, but the poor man had only one little she-lamb, which he had got and taken care of. From its birth it had been with him like one of his children, his meat was its food, and from his cup it took its drink, resting in his arms, and it was like a daughter to him. Now a traveler came to the house of the man of wealth, but he would not take anything from his flock or his herd to make a meal for the traveler who had come to him, but he took the poor man's lamb and made it ready for the man who had come. And David was full of wrath against that man, and he said to Nathan, "By the living Lord, death is the right punishment for the man who has done this, and he will have to give back 4 times the value of the lamb, because he has done this and because he had no pity." And Nathan said to David, "You are that man. The Lord God of Israel says, I made you king over Israel, putting holy oil on you, and I kept you safe from the hands of Saul. I gave you your master's daughter and your master's wives for yourself, and I gave you the daughters of Israel and Judah, and if that had not been enough, I would have given you such and such things. Why then have you had no respect for the word of the Lord, doing what is evil in his eyes? You have put Uriah the Hittite to death with the sword, and have taken his wife to be your wife. You have put him to death with the sword of the children of Ammon. So now the sword will never be turned away from your family, because you have had no respect for me, and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. The Lord says, From those of your family I will send evil against you, and before your very eyes I will take your wives and give them to your neighbor, and he will take your wives to his bed by the light of this sun. You did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in the light of the sun." And David said to Nathan, "Great is my sin against the Lord." And Nathan said to David, "The Lord has put away your sin, death will not come on you. But still, because you have had no respect for the Lord, death will certainly overtake the child who has newly come to birth." Then Nathan went back to his house, and the hand of the Lord was on David's son, the child of Uriah's wife, and it became very ill. So David made prayer to God for the child, and he took no food day after day, and went in and, stretching himself out on the earth, was there all night. And the chief man of his house got up and went to his side to make him get up from the earth, but he would not, and he would not take food with them. And then on the 7th day the child's death took place, and David's servants were in fear of giving him the news of the child's death, for they said, "Truly, while the child was still living he gave no attention when we said anything to him. What will he do to himself if we give him word that the child is dead?" But when David saw that his servants were talking together quietly, he was certain that the child was dead, and he said to his servants, "Is the child dead?" And they said, "He is." Then David got up from the earth, and after washing and rubbing himself with oil and changing his clothing, he went into the house of the Lord and gave worship. Then he went back to his house, and at his order they put food before him and he had a meal. Then his servants said to him, "Why have you been acting in this way? You were weeping and going without food while the child was still living. But when the child was dead, you got up and had a meal." And he said, "While the child was still living I went without food and gave myself up to weeping. For I said, who is able to say that the Lord will not have mercy on me and give the child life? But now that the child is dead there is no reason for me to go without food. Am I able to make him come back to life? I will go to him, but he will never come back to me." And David gave comfort to his wife Bathsheba, and he went into her and had connection with her, and she had a son to whom she gave the name Solomon, and he was dear to the Lord. And he sent word by Nathan the prophet, who gave him the name Yedidiah, by the word of the Lord. Now Joab was fighting against Rabbah, in the land of the children of Ammon, and he took the water town. And Joab sent men to David, saying, "I have made war against Rabbah and have taken the water town. So now, get the rest of the people together, and put them in position against the town and take it, for if I take it, it will be named after my name." Then David got all the people together and went to Rabbah and made war on it and took it. And he took the crown of Milcom from his head, the weight of it was a talent of gold, and in it were stones of great price, and it was put on David's head. And he took a great store of goods from the town. And he took the people out of the town and put them to work with wood-cutting instruments, and iron grain crushers, and iron axes, and at brick-making. This he did to all the towns of the children of Ammon.